In the last episode, we focused on the creative process and the basic structure of the build. Today, we're going to dive right in and start building this thing. But before we can start mounting the hardware, we need to get going on some of the themed elements for the case. Here we're creating 3D printed characters for the shield, and details that will help this mod really look and feel like it came right out of the game.
So now we're just cutting a bunch of holes in the base. So now what we're going to do is just connect the hole. So I'm going to use the jigsaw to just run across both sides of the hole. So I made these 3D printed columns that will support the motherboard tray at an angle and gives it that Parthenon look and feel. So we're just going to start screwing them into the motherboard tray here. There we go. So now we're going to install the pump onto the bracket. Now we'll see if this ring will fit. But it fits pretty good. All right, so now that we have all the hardware mounted inside and out, it's time to break it all down and get ready for paint and finish. Living up in the sticks, I don't have access to a professional paint booth. So I utilize a stack of old deck boards outside to prop up the piece. After multiple coats of spot filler and primer and sanding in between, the shield is now ready for some actual color. To be consistent with the shield from the game, I spray a base coat using a dark bronze paint with a hammered texture. After that was dry, I laid down the finish coat of a satin bronze. For the 3D printed vase, I used a stone texture as a base coat to give it that clay pottery look. Then I sprayed over that with the gold bronze. Once that was dry, I went over it with various colors of ochre and sienna using a dry brush technique to give it an aged look. I taped off the areas I wanted to keep and sprayed the black. And finally, I hand painted all the characters and details in the main scene.
Once that's all done, we can start mounting the motherboard.
We're ready to assemble the case, and we're putting everything onto the base right now. Basically what I did for lighting is I added a couple LED strips under the motherboard tray. Should look pretty cool. All right, let's get this motherboard on the tray. We got the motherboard installed, so next comes the most important thing. Intel's brand new i9-10900 processor. So first thing, we just have to remove the protective covering, and then we install the processor. We just follow the arrows to make sure it's oriented perfectly. It's time to install Corsair's Vengeance Pro RGB memory kit. And we're gonna fill up the slots with 128 gigs of awesome memory. The memory on, we got the M.2 drives installed, got the water block on. Last but not least is the 2080 Ti.
On the next episode, we'll be putting the finishing touches on our mod, including cable management, liquid cooling, and adding some of the fine detail that really gives it a distressed ancient Trojan look and feel. Stay tuned.